It's 2018 and we're into the playoffs. No more fucking around. But before we get into our picks, it's going to be a shorter video with less games to cover. So let's talk about the NFL honors that's coming up and our predictions for who is actually going to win the MVP and some of these other awards. So Gerald, you had some thoughts on who's going to win the MVP, and what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's going to be Antonio Brown, honestly. That's honestly my prediction. It hurts as a Ravens fan to say it, but I mean, he's like the number one receiver. He's literally the best receiver in the NFL, honestly. And again, I think people look at quarterbacks more or less because they're like, oh, well, they have more passing yards, more touchdowns, and they're the face of the team. And yes, that is important. So guys like Tom Brady are probably going to get the nod. But I think you really should look at receivers like Antonio Brown, who is probably one of the key components of why the Steelers are going to go so far in the playoffs this year, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you can't disagree on the merits of that in terms of the statistics and what he means to the team, but MVP just leans so heavily towards quarterbacks, and occasionally you'll see a running back win, but you know, I want to see Todd Gurley win it. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they end up giving this.
Another one, yeah.
I think they might end up just giving this to like Tom Brady or something. In all honesty, not that he's like super deserving of it, but
no.
I just see this going to a quarterback. And since quarterbacks drop like flies this year, you think it's got to be someone like Breeze or Brady.
Yeah, I mean those are definitely valid picks, and I agree. But it would be interesting and nice to see a change of pace like a receiver, and I think Antonio Brown is deserving of the award.
Yeah, I think so. Now, you said before the show that you knew someone for Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I think Kamara from the Saints, man, that kid went off. And from a fantasy point of view, a rookie that consistently scored anywhere from about 15 to 20 fantasy points on the Yahoo Fantasy Football League, I mean, that's impressive in itself. Not to, again, a rookie. This isn't a seasoned veteran. Like, no, this is a kid that has never suited up for an NFL game. And, I mean, I've been really impressed by him. I think that, honestly, he's going to have a great career.
I'm actually going to agree with you on that. I think it's one of those awards that comes down to either Kamara or Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, Hunt was another one.
Kareem Hunt had a lot of volume. He had more rushing yards, and early in the year he was much better. Kamara was not getting playing time early in the year.
But Kamara stayed pretty consistent once he did get that playing time towards the end, and I expect him to do good in the playoffs.
Right. I'm actually going to go a step further and give a bold prediction that the Saints actually sweep the Rookie of the Year awards, and then on the defensive side, they get Marshawn Lattimore to win too. And that's something that one team has never won both those awards since like decades ago. It happened with the Lions maybe 20, 30 years ago. But I think we actually see it happen again. And I will say that I think Todd Gurley, since he's not, I don't see him get MVP. I think he will get Offensive Player of the Year. I think Defensive Player of the Year honestly could go to Aaron Donald of the Rams also. He's been very dominant, has the most pressures on the quarterback this year. There's a couple guys in the mix there for Defensive Player, but I think he's got the best shot.
I think Coach of the Year honestly goes to your boy. I think it does. McVay. He deserves it. I mean, he took the Rams, who, no offense, were nothing. An abysmal black hole in the NFL, and now you guys are looking to go far in the playoffs. I mean, yeah, I can't think of a better coach that's had a better, at least, turnaround season.
I think that'll be a very valid win. I would have some concern that they just give the coach award to whoever had the best record. You know, they might give it
that's
to,
what they do.
They might give it to Belichick. They might give it to like the Eagles coach or something. But
it happens.
Yeah. But I think that covers that, so why don't we get into the games?
Let's get into the picks for this week. Again, Chris is out this week, but it's all good. His picks will be down below. But we'll start with the first game, 4:30 on Saturday, AFC wildcard matchup. Tennessee travels to Kansas City, where the Kansas City Chiefs have a -7 at home.
It's going to be a very interesting game. I think that the Chiefs do have the better chance to win, so I understand why they're favorites, but a 7-point spread.
Yeah.
That does make it interesting.
It makes it very interesting.
I'm going to say that I'm going to actually like the Titans to cover it.
I'm going to go with the Chiefs, honestly. They're at home. Arrowhead isn't the easiest place to play. Depending on what Chiefs show up this weekend, I think they could have a really, really good game this week. Titans are barely in the playoffs to begin with. So, but Yeah, I'm going to go with the Chiefs, though.
Okay.
Next up, 8:15 Saturday night, the Atlanta Falcons travel to LA to take on your Rams. The Rams have a -5.5 at home.
Well, you know which team I'm going with here.
I'm going with question.
I'm going with the Rams. They're at home. I don't want to see them go out in the wild card. And I think even with a -5.5, I mean that's minus less than a touchdown. So the Rams are my pick.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the Rams as well. Like I said, I like what this young team is doing, and honestly, between the Rams, the Saints, or the Eagles, those are definitely my picks on who probably wins the Super Bowl. I mean, it could be an AFC team, probably the Steelers, but I don't think it'll be an AFC team this year. But who knows? But I am going to go with the Rams. I like what they're doing. Todd Gurley's been on fire. Goff has been playing like a legit quarterback this year. And again, I think that there's a lot of talent on this young squad, and I think you guys are going to get a good victory. Moving on to Sunday, 1:05 p.m. game. Buffalo, who barely was in the playoffs. Thanks, Bengals. Travels to Jacksonville. Take on the Jags. Jags have a -5.5 at home.
That -5.5 is laughable. I honestly think this is a game that could end up being one of those playoff blowouts where the Jaguars actually win easily. Jaguars is my pick.
Agreed. I think the Jaguars are going to go completely off. It is like one of their first playoff games in like, how many years? Like, they could pick up their, it could be definitely a really good victory here for them. I don't think Buffalo is prepared for playoffs, honestly. Again, they got lucky. Let's be honest here. They got lucky. That's why they sent a bunch of wings to Andy Dalton and the Bengals, because the Ravens' defense fell short. But that's a different story. Jacksonville's going to win this one very easily. Moving on to the final game of the wild card weekend. 4:40, Carolina travels to New Orleans to take on the Saints. Saints have a -4 at home.
I'm going with the Saints. I think it's a relatively easy pick given that it's not even a 7-point or more margin here. I really do see the Saints winning this by like a touchdown, maybe 10 points.
Not even a question, the Saints. I mean, Carolina, yes, they're a decent squad. And again, I was watching actually First Take earlier this afternoon on my lunch break, and they were talking about between Atlanta and Carolina, who needs to redeem themselves more. I honestly don't think Carolina has it in them to go far. If anything, I would say Atlanta has a better shot of going far, which I don't think they will go beyond the first round. But I think New Orleans is going to have a fun time with them, and I think they're definitely going to cover the spread. They're at home. They have a very good, solid squad, and Drew Brees, let's be honest here, ladies and gentlemen, may or may not be playing his last season or two, I honestly think. I think if Drew Brees goes to the Super Bowl, wins, he hangs it up.
Yeah, you got to be careful you can't doubt Cam Newton because we've already seen in years past with no one around him on offense, he still gets it done. So he's always got the potential to do that. But this is coming into the Superdome, and the Saints now, the big difference for them this year compared to previous years, they got two highly capable running backs. Mm-hmm. They don't need to throw the ball 40 times a game. They can be a very balanced team. The defense is a little bit better than we've seen in previous years. So I do like them to get it done here. Yeah,
I definitely agree. The Saints are definitely probably the better team out of the two. And again, being at home in Louisiana, I think it's going to be really big for them.
So that does it. Can't wait to get to the next week. We talk about some of those divisional games where some of those teams have byes, like the Vikings and the Patriots. Steelers got some bye weeks going on. Eagles as well.
How will Nick Foles do? I'm curious to see what he does.
Yeah, and you mentioned some of the teams you're thinking of winning the Super Bowl. I'm honestly really worried about the Vikings. I think that's going to be a tough. Like if the Rams can get to that, if it's a conference championship game against the Vikings, I don't like their odds.
The Vikings are definitely a sleeper pick, honestly, and we'll take even a couple of seconds to talk about that. But there are a lot of teams. I mean, again, the Patriots, they're pretty solid on the AFC side. I mean, whether or not you want to believe into the referees playing for them or not, they're a valid threat in this. I think, honestly, at the end of the day, if I had to make a bold prediction today, who's the AFC Championship matchup? It's the Steelers versus the Patriots, honestly. That's honestly my prediction. And I think the Steelers would honestly go on to go to the Super Bowl. I don't think Tom Brady's going to play at the level he needs to go to the Super Bowl to get a 6th ring. Nope, I think the Steelers are actually going to do it.
We'll see what happens. I mean, in playoffs, again, you can have some people drop
Yeah.
like flies before it gets to the next game.
Injuries happen, man.
You know, obviously, if a quarterback gets knocked out, that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like I said, it's exciting playoffs. A little sad my team didn't make it. Hopefully we do better in the offseason. We'll see.
So thanks for watching this episode. Stay tuned. We're going to cover this all through the playoffs into the Super Bowl. Your spread picks right here on Lit Sports Online.
And don't forget to like and subscribe down below. Take care.